people would have laughed at you if you had told them a decade ago that cryptocurrency fraud is impossible. Scammers are always finding new ways to steal your money using cryptocurrency. One sure sign of a scam is anyone who says you have to pay by cryptocurrency. In fact, anyone who tells you to pay by wire transfer, gift card, or cryptocurrency is a scammer. Of course, if you pay, there's almost no way to get that money back. Now the real question is, what is SEC? Do you know what the SEC is trying to do with crypto? Luckily for you, Crypto Clipper, in today's video, we will be talking about the SEC. They are now on a hiring spree as they attempt to fight cryptocurrency fraud. Let's start digging into this video. Cryptocurrency is a type of digital currency that exists solely on the internet. Unless you use a service that allows you to exchange cryptocurrency for a physical token, there is no physical coin or bill. Without the use of an intermediary such as a bank, you usually exchange cryptocurrency with someone online using your phone or computer. Although Bitcoin and Ether are well-known cryptocurrencies, there are many others, and new ones are constantly being developed. Millions of cryptocurrency investors have been duped out of millions of dollars. Losses from cryptocurrency-related crimes totaled $1.7 billion in 2018. In schemes based on digital currencies exchanged through online databases known as blockchains, criminals employ both traditional and new technology tactics to defraud their victims. We can see that some cryptocurrency fraudsters rely on tried and true Ponzi schemes that use income from new participants to pay out returns to earlier investors based on our research into blockchain, cryptocurrency, and cybercrime. Others use highly automated and sophisticated processes, such as automated software that communicates with Telegram, a popular internet-based instant messaging system among cryptocurrency enthusiasts. Even if a cryptocurrency plan is legitimate, criminals can manipulate its price in the market. How do unwary investors become drawn to cryptocurrency scams in the first place? Fast-talking con artists. Some cryptocurrency scammers prey on people's greed by promising large payouts. For example, the scam bot iCenter, which is a Ponzi scheme for Bitcoin and Litecoin, is run by an unknown group of entrepreneurs. It doesn't offer any investment advice, but it does promise 1.2% daily returns to investors. The iCenter scheme is run through a Telegram group chat. It all starts with a small group of con artists who are part of the scheme. They are given a referral code, which they share with others through blogs and social media in the hopes that they will join the chat. The newcomers see encouraging and exciting messages from the original scammers once they arrive. Some newcomers choose to invest, and they are given their own Bitcoin wallet into which they can deposit Bitcoins. They agree to wait for a significant return for a set period of time, 99 or 120 days. During this time, newcomers frequently use social media to share their own referral codes with friends and contacts, resulting in an increase in the number of people joining the group chat and investing in the scheme. The funds are not actually invested in any legitimate business. Instead, when new people join, the person who recruited them receives a percentage of the new funds. And the cycle continues, with earlier participants receiving payments from each new round of investors. Some members go to great lengths to recruit new members, posting tutorial videos and photos of themselves holding large sums of money as enticements to join the scam. Lies and more lies. Some con artists prefer outright deception. OneCoin's founders defrauded investors out of $3.8 billion by convincing them that their non-existent cryptocurrency was real. Other scams rely on jargon or claims of specialized knowledge to impress potential victims. The global trading con artists claimed they profited from arbitrage, buying cheaply and selling at higher prices by taking advantage of price differences on various cryptocurrency exchanges. They merely took money from investors, Global Trading also used a Telegram bot where investors could send a balance inquiry message and receive false information about how much money was in their account, with balances sometimes rising by 1% in an hour. Who could blame people for sharing the scheme on social media with their friends and family when the returns are so good? Taking advantage of friends and family. Once a scheme is launched, it is kept alive, at least temporarily, by social media. One person is seduced by the promise of high returns on cryptocurrency investments and tells their friends and family about it. Big names are occasionally involved. For example, in India, the mastermind behind Gain Bitcoin and other alleged scams persuaded a number of Bollywood celebrities to promote his book Cryptocurrency for Beginners. He even tried to become a celebrity by claiming to be a cryptocurrency guru, while leading investments worth between $769 million and $2 billion. Not all of the celebrities are aware of their involvement. In one blog post, iCenter included what appeared to be a video of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson holding a sign with the iCenter logo. Justin Timberlake and Christopher Walken's videos were skewed to appear to praise iCenter as well. Initial coin offerings that are fraudulent. An initial coin offering is another common scam technique. An initial coin offering, or ICO, is essentially a way for a startup cryptocurrency company to raise money from its future users. Customers are promised a discount on the new crypto coins in exchange for sending active cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Many initial coin offerings have turned out to be scams, with organizers concocting elaborate schemes, including renting fictitious offices and producing opulent marketing materials. The hype and media coverage surrounding cryptocurrencies in 2017 fueled a massive wave of initial coin offering, or ICO, fraud. Approximately 1,000 initial coin offerings failed in 2018, costing backers at least $100 million. Many of these projects lack original ideas. More than 15% of them plagiarized supporting documentation or copied ideas from other cryptocurrency efforts. Blockchains and cryptocurrencies continue to attract investors seeking returns in a new technology sector. But investors should be aware that they are complex systems that are unfamiliar even to those selling them. Scams have targeted both newcomers and seasoned residents. In a market like the current cryptocurrency market, potential investors should do their homework and find out who is involved, as well as the actual plan for making real money without defrauding others. So how does the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, will help lessen cryptocurrency fraud? The Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, is leading the charge for increased regulatory oversight of cryptocurrency products and platforms that may be involved in the sale and offering of securities. Securities, unlike other assets like commodities, are heavily regulated and require extensive disclosures to inform investors about potential risks. They are planning to add 20 new positions to protect investors in crypto markets and from cyber-related threats. According to the press release, the Division of Enforcement's newly renamed Crypto Assets and Cyber Unit will expand to 50 dedicated positions. One of our mentors said that the United States has the best capital markets because investors trust them. As more investors access the crypto markets, it becomes increasingly important to devote more resources to protecting them. By nearly doubling the size of this key unit, it will be better able to police wrongdoing in the crypto markets while also identifying cybersecurity disclosure and control issues. The Cyber Unit, which was established in 2017, claims to have completed 80 enforcement actions involving fraudulent and unregistered crypto asset offerings and platforms, resulting in more than $2 billion in monetary relief. The new and improved Crypto Assets and Cyber Unit will protect crypto investors by focusing on securities law violations involving crypto asset offerings, crypto asset exchanges, crypto asset lending and staking protocols, decentralized finance platforms, non-fungible tokens, and stablecoins, according to the announcement. In recent years, cryptocurrency markets have exploded, with retail investors bearing the brunt of market manipulation. Meanwhile, cyber threats continue to pose a significant threat to our financial markets and participants. In the face of these critical challenges, the bolstered crypto assets and cyber unit will be at the forefront of protecting investors and ensuring fair and orderly markets. The SEC stated that in addition to policing cryptocurrency exchanges and initial coin offerings, it will also monitor non-fungible tokens, decentralized finance platforms, and stablecoins. In general, the team will be in charge of safeguarding cryptocurrency investors. The SEC announced that fraud analysts, trial and investigative attorneys, and supervisors will be among the open positions. Earlier this year, U.S. Vice President Joe Biden signed an executive order directing federal agencies to consider new regulations for digital currencies. Biden calls on federal agencies to coordinate their efforts in order to assess the benefits and risks of cryptocurrency ownership, as well as whether an American digital currency should be created. The addition of 20 new employees to the SEC is part of the U.S. government's growing mission to ensure transparency and investor protection in the cryptocurrency markets. The Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, announced that it will add around 20 new positions in light of cryptocurrency's rapid rise and widespread adoption of digital assets by new investors. This is in response to the cryptocurrency market's recent meteoric rise to more than $2 trillion in market capitalization. These crucial positions will be based in the division in charge of safeguarding investors who buy, sell, and trade digital assets in crypto markets. The new hires will also be responsible for investigating cyber-related threats, ensuring that adequate cybersecurity controls are in place, and ensuring that SEC registrants and public companies are transparent in reporting cybersecurity breaches.
Now, one of the things that's important to remember is they know that they need to regulate it. They want to regulate it because they see it as something that's completely out of control. The smart regulators are coming back saying things like, well, we don't want to completely quash innovation. And I think that's an important piece. One thing that regulators need to know, and if you're watching this and you are a regulator, you've come across my channel and just doing research, hear me loud and clear, Mr. Miss Regulator. Do not regulate into obscurity. Do not do what you did to the banking sector, that you regulate so heavily that banks simply can't compete. One of the reasons that we've even seen a huge move to cryptocurrency as a whole is for that same reason. There are so many people in the population, not just in the US, but overseas, that are completely unbanked. They have absolutely no banking account whatsoever. You have inaccess to funds. You have the inability for certain people groups to be able to approach and have access to a bank and the features of it. And crypto, in a large way, is trying to solve for those challenges. Understand that regulators are going to regulate. That's what they do. So let's stay abreast of what's happening and let's talk about some of the news. We're going to share my screen out and let's jump into some of this. So this comes from CNN, and they're talking about Securities and Exchange Commission is vastly expanding its fight against cryptocurrency fraud by hiring more than a dozen new employees. Now, when you hear vastly increasing, you probably think like I do, oh, thousands? No, just a dozen, 12, 13, 14. But that's still a massive increase. That's still a big focus. Now, I don't think that massive focus, you're going to see this impact just like average Joes like you or me. It's really a very big focus on what we're seeing around the crypto programs that are out there. But this is where the government's going. They're really forcing a clamp down on what's happening in crypto because they see it as unstable and they see it as, for better or for worse, for truth or not, it's being used a lot for fraud. Now, we know that the US dollar is used for fraud far more, orders of magnitude more than crypto. So let's just be honest, right? So the additional 20 positions will result in a doubling of the agency's cyber unit. So I guess that they were at 10. So they've doubled it, but it's still only 20. It's still quite small. So we know that this is just the next iteration in the movement towards more heavy regulation of crypto. So look at what SEC Chair Gensler said. By nearly doubling the size of this key unit, the SEC will be better equipped to police wrongdoing in the crypto markets while continuing to identify disclosure and control issues with respect to cybersecurity. Because it's cybersecurity, it's probably dealing with a lot of not just like the fraud and ransomware that's happening, but also a lot of the major hacks. I've covered a bunch of them. Axie Infinity was one of the most recent ones that happened with like over $500 million stolen from that entire platform. Absolutely mind-boggling. But I also think they're looking at the stability of the financial ecosystem and the threat that cryptocurrency poses towards it. They're focused on protecting crypto asset offerings, right? So new crypto programs that are coming out, especially those that may be deemed as security, that have tokens that go with them, crypto exchanges, crypto lending products, which we've talked about a little bit. You're going to see that happen. Don't be surprised to see some of these awesome lending programs also get shut down because they're a direct threat to banks and they don't view the stability inside all of that as something safe. And apparently they are not happy with that capability and think that, the market can completely tank way beyond a 75% drop, thereby terminating a bunch of these loans, and they're trying to prevent these things from happening. So don't be surprised to see a deeper clampdown even on loan programs that are out there. But then here's where it gets really interesting. They're also going after decentralized finance platforms, NFTs, and stablecoins. Stablecoins we've known for quite some time, right? But DeFi platforms and NFTs, that's new. And that's significant. The industry has been begging for clear rules, and our government still hasn't figured them out, he said. So the SEC goes after anything that spells bad to the SEC. Now that's a fair comment. I'm cool with that one, right? Here's the deal. When you're going to go after DeFi, you're going to go after NFTs, you better issue some clarity before just dropping some stuff in front of everybody. This is what we want to see. The government hasn't done a good job of moving forward with better clarity in the industry, and we need to see more of that as we go forward. Then they also mentioned the SEC brought 80 enforcement actions, up to $2 billion in fines, and I mentioned BlockFi. Yep, there it was. It was $100 million. So we know that this stuff is coming. We know the clampdown on Celsius, for example, on their Earn program. These things are happening. And then they mentioned, Chainalysis. It's a company that tracks a lot of blockchain analytics, is showing $3.2 billion in crypto theft. Now, a lot of that is not just because of crypto. It's, yes, crypto enables ransomware, for example, but it's, let's be honest, it's not a problem directly of crypto, so to speak. It's a problem of cybercrime far more than that as well. Before you go after NFTs, you need to be able to present much better clarity to the average Joe consumer like me. For example, if the federal government wants to clamp down on DeFi without giving capabilities and reporting mechanisms around it, they've got a problem for themselves. Many DeFi platforms have absolutely no tax exports. It's very much difficult, if not impossible, if you're heavy into the DeFi space, to be able to accurately report tax gains. So we're missing the technology pieces, and we're missing the clarity from the government. Why are they treating some crypto-like assets when it's virtually impossible to track the trading of those assets in the blockchain or in the DeFi platforms themselves? Before we see clampdown from the government, I'd rather see clarity come from them, and I'd rather see a humble and honest and open approach towards engaging the community, and especially consumers like me and you, so they can get a better feel for what they're trying to get their hands around, rather than just trying to regulate because I'm gonna regulate.
The Crypto Police. The Division of Enforcement's Crypto Assets and Cyber Unit will grow to around 50 dedicated positions from the current 30 white-collar regulatory professionals. The agency's ability to review, investigate, audit, examine, and potentially prosecute securities law violations related to these new crypto products and trading activities will be aided by the new headcount. We simply don't have enough investor protection in crypto right now. To be honest, it feels more like the Wild West right now. In some applications, this asset class is rife with fraud, scams, and abuse. There's a lot of hype and spin surrounding crypto assets. Investors are frequently unable to obtain rigorous, balanced, and complete information. We are concerned that if these issues are not addressed, many people will be harmed. What did Trump do about Wall Street and cryptocurrencies regulation?
Today we're assigning core principles for regulating the United States financial system. Doesn't get much bigger than that, right? Thank you very much. Would you like to explain?
That's my baby.
Why don't you explain this?
What we're doing is we are returning to the American people, low and middle income investors and retirees, their control over their own retirement savings. This is about Main Street, and it's been a labor of love for me for over 4 years. I'm the chairman, and this is a big day, a big moment for Americans that care to invest and save.
And she means that so much.
President Joe Biden's selection of Gensler contrasted with former President Donald Trump's views on regulation. After 4 years of deregulation, the SEC will be more proactive under Gensler. Trump made it clear when he first took office that his administration would be relatively hands-off when it came to Wall Street. To Trump, red tape and bureaucratic rules were anathema. He was convinced that too many laws would act as roadblocks to economic growth. Trump famously stated that for every new regulation proposed, at least 2 existing regulations should be repealed. He even signed an executive order instructing federal agencies to eliminate unnecessary regulations that obstruct economic recovery, a move Trump claims will aid the economy's recovery from the coronavirus outbreak. I'm redirecting agencies to review the hundreds of regulations we've already suspended in response to the virus, and where possible, make these suspensions permanent, to use any and all authority to waive, suspend, and eliminate unnecessary regulations that impede economic recovery, Trump said at the time. I'm also instructing agencies to use emergency authorities to expedite regulation cuts or new rules that will create jobs and prosperity while eliminating unnecessary rules and regulations, he continued. The new sheriff in town takes charge. Given the lack of regulation under the previous administration, as well as the constraints imposed by the virus outbreak, the new SEC hires may have a lot of work ahead of them. Despite the difficulties, actions have been taken. The Division of Enforcement's Crypto Assets and Cyber Unit has successfully brought dozens of cases against those seeking to exploit investors in crypto markets, according to Gensler. By nearly doubling the size of this key unit, the SEC will be better equipped to police wrongdoing in the crypto markets, while continuing to identify disclosure and control issues in terms of cybersecurity. He added, investors will be protected in the crypto markets thanks to the newly enhanced crypto assets and cyber unit. Securities law violations involving crypto asset offerings and exchanges, crypto asset lending and staking products, decentralized finance platforms, non-fungible tokens or NFTs, and stablecoins will be investigated. Why are NFTs, tokens, and digital assets suddenly popular? Crypto markets have exploded in recent years, with retail investors bearing the brunt of abuses in this space. Gerber S. Gruel, director of the SEC's Division of Enforcement, said of the situation.
We don't play games like threatening potential charges to gain leverage in negotiations or at trial if we don't in good faith believe that the evidence supports recommending those charges. We don't play games with admissions. If we say during settlement negotiations that we demand admissions, we mean it, and we're prepared to litigate the case if the Commission authorizes the action. We don't play games with our settlement demands. This doesn't mean that our opening offer is always our final offer, but it does mean that our offer is a product of rigorous thought about the appropriate outcome, that it's calibrated to the case and to the conduct. And while there may be flexibility in certain aspects of it, and yes, on occasion, we may get it wrong, you should not assume that everything is subject to negotiation. The enforcement process is not a bazaar. It's a serious undertaking. And I think we all need to treat it with the respect that it deserves. And for those who want to work with us more closely in this shared endeavor, I'm happy to share that we are hiring.
Meanwhile, cyber-related threats to our financial markets and participants continue to pose existential threats. In the face of these critical challenges, the bolstered Crypto Assets and Cyber Unit will be at the forefront of protecting investors and ensuring fair and orderly markets, Gruel added. The SEC's Washington, D.C. headquarters and regional offices have added investigative attorneys, trial counsels, and fraud analysts to help the agency keep up with what's going on in this space. Professionals in compliance, legal, audit, and regulatory affairs will be in high demand. Regulators will most likely look into whether there were any issues that were swept under the rug during Trump's presidency. There will almost certainly be both precautionary exams and audits, which slowed during the pandemic, to uncover any previous abusive, violative practices that occurred or are currently occurring. The addition of SEC personnel will have a significant impact. It sends a message to the financial community that the era of light regulation is over and a new sheriff has arrived. A significant number of new jobs in the private sector will almost certainly be created in response to the increased scrutiny. When regulators begin conducting examinations, audits, and investigations of crypto exchanges, NFT platforms, fintech startups, and related trading platforms, as well as traditional banks and brokerage firms, these businesses will require a significant amount of personnel to deal with the upcoming wave of regulatory oversight. Compliance officers, attorneys, risk managers, auditors, and investigators, for example, will be in high demand. This could quickly become a sultry growth sector. The SEC's entry will fundamentally alter the way cryptocurrency market operate. In the coming years, there will be 3 major changes. New tokens could be regulated. Although the SEC has focused most of its enforcement actions on ICOs, new types of blockchain tokens have emerged in recent years, ranging from decentralized lending or DeFi to non-fungible tokens. Many of the new projects appear to work around existing regulations, either by working without a central operator, decentralization, or by representing tokens that are harmless, such as in-game objects or digital artworks. However, securities laws apply to these tokens to the extent that they are sold as investments. On August 6, 2021, the SEC announced its first decentralized finance enforcement action, charging the platform DeFi Money Market. The project's founders agreed to pay $125,000 in fines, as well as disgorgement of more than $12 million in illegal profits. Securities laws may soon be applied to NFTs by regulators. Hester Pierce, one of the SEC's more crypto-friendly commissioners, has warned that some NFTs could land investors in legal trouble, particularly if they start trading fractionalized shares of a token. While the SEC has yet to take any enforcement action, at least one NFT operator is being sued by investors who believe they were sold unregistered securities.
Having another regulator in Washington does tend to complicate the landscape, but I can understand why some people might prefer a self-regulator in this space because it allows for more flexibility and the industry knowledge is infused throughout the self-regulatory organization. There's a benefit to that. I will say that sometimes adding in that self-regulatory layer can add some complexities, and we see that in crypto already because our self-regulator FINRA plays a role with respect to some of these entities that are some of these broker dealers that are trying to get into crypto. And so FINRA has to communicate with the SEC, and then FINRA has to also communicate with the entity trying to apply. And so there can be some complication in that kind of arrangement. But it is one option, and I'm sure it's something that Congress will think about as a potential option.
Exchanges may be required to register as brokers. Gary Gensler, chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, suggested that crypto exchanges should be required to register as securities markets during a hearing before the Senate Banking Committee in September 2021. He told the committee, "Make no mistake, if there are securities on these trading platforms, they must register with the Commission under our laws unless they qualify for an exemption." Historically, cryptocurrency exchanges have been opaque, allowing their operators to profit without being accountable to governments or their customers. Wash trading, front-running, and freezing customer balances have been accused of many exchanges. Crypto exchanges would be required to record their trades and implement technology systems to make their order books audit compliant if they registered with the SEC. They'd also have to follow strict order execution rules to avoid market manipulation. Many exchanges have previously chosen to relocate abroad and restrict access to American customers in order to avoid U.S. regulations. Many exchanges, on the other hand, accept compliance as a price to pay for access to the lucrative U.S. market. Coinbase, North America's largest cryptocurrency exchange, was the first major trading venue to register as a broker-dealer after being accused of insider trading. Stablecoins may be scrutinized more closely.
I think it depends on what the stablecoin looks like, and some of they aren't all designed the same way. And so I can imagine that we might look at some of them and say they have securities-like features or money market-like features, but it really is it's a facts and circumstances analysis, and it's something that has to be done on a one-by-one process. I think, again, we need to be looking at what the objectives we're trying to achieve are, and shoving something into an existing regulatory regime may not be the best way to achieve those objectives.
Stablecoins, blockchain tokens whose value is pegged to the dollar or another fiat currency, are another likely target for regulators. Most stablecoins keep large reserves of cash, treasuries, or other low-risk assets to back up their peg. Some stablecoin issuers, on the other hand, have been accused of market manipulation by purchasing cryptocurrency in order to raise prices. The Commodity Futures Trading Commission fined Tether, the largest stablecoin, $41 million in October 2021 for misrepresenting the nature of its reserves. Tether's reserves included unsecured debt, third-party bank accounts, and other cryptocurrencies, despite the fact that it was ostensibly backed by cash. The settlement came after the New York Attorney General's office filed a similar lawsuit. The SEC may be interested in stablecoins as well. The majority of stablecoin trades are also securities transactions because the Commission considers crypto exchanges to be de facto securities brokers. The SEC has indicated that it may be investigating the largest stablecoin, despite the fact that it has not yet filed suit. Investing in cryptocurrencies and other initial coin offerings, or ICOs, is extremely risky and speculative, and this article does not constitute an endorsement of cryptocurrencies or other ICOs by Investopedia or the author. Because each person's situation is different, you should always seek advice from a qualified professional before making any financial decisions. Investopedia makes no guarantees or representations about the accuracy or timeliness of the information provided. The author owns 0.01 Bitcoin as of the date this article was written. That's it for this video, Crypto Clipper. Remember to subscribe to our channel. And if you feel like we've delivered value, please share this video with one person. That's right, just one person, as a token of your appreciation for the hard work we put into making content that educates and helps you on your mission of building your own fortune. Remember, you can watch video after video, but it isn't until you actually take action that you'll start to see results. See you soon.